Good Monday morning. Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Cinnamon Stitches. I am your yarn host, Jennifer. Ooh man, I got some stuff to talk about today. I need to figure out how to turn that off. I don't know why this is on. Oh well, it is what it is. I have a tripod, handheld tripod thing it is on, and I don't have a clue how to turn that off. I don't know. It'll be fine, it'll be fine. I just got out of bed a few minutes ago, so I still have that. I just woke up, look on my face. I feel a hot mess. I'm exhausted, my body is hurting, but it's because we went to Lowe's yesterday. I had to buy some spring and summer flowers for my garden in the backyard. I'm making some decisions. I think I'm going to rip out my my vegetable garden in the backyard. Last year it didn't do real well, and the year before that it didn't do real well. And I mean, it still supplied us with vegetables, but it cost way more money than it saved me in the vegetables that it gave us. And that back corner of the yard is always swampy, and I hate going back there. And I think if I'm going to grow some vegetables, I'm going to do it closer to the house in beds. I mean, I have raised beds back there, but I think I'm going to move some of the beds closer to the house and really just grow the things that we would eat a lot of, like fresh basil. I will eat fresh cut basil all year. So several plants of fresh cut basil, and then maybe a tomato plant in a pot so that it's more manageable. It's closer to the house. Also, the way we built it, it is too close to the back fence, and Mr. Cinnamon is having a hard time maintaining the weed and grass growth around the garden area because we had to fence it off because Oreo is a tomato eater. She will steal my tomatoes, and Scarlet will eat anything that she thinks is food. And so we have to fence it off. And so I think I just want to rip that out. And so we went to Lowe's. I got a couple clearance plants. I love Lowe's clearance plants. They're like, hey, some of the flowers died off, so we're going to clearance it out for half price. Thank you. Because I can bring this thing back to better than its formal glory. I don't claim to have a green thumb. And actually, before my mom passed away, I couldn't grow anything. I couldn't grow anything. I couldn't keep a houseplant alive. The only thing I could keep alive was an African violet, and I only kept it alive in the sense that the green leaves were still there because I could not ever get it to reflower. Now all of a sudden, since my mom passed away, my mom's been gone 12 years now, I seem to be able to grow things and garden, and it's really strange. It's really strange. But yeah, so I bought some really pretty flowers. I'll pop up a picture if I think about it, but it's, yeah. But we had to stand in line because yesterday was a beautiful day. Now this is foreign to me because I grew up in Michigan, and in Michigan it's still kind of winter. April's still technically winter, and you cannot put anything in the ground outside before Mother's Day, which is in May. So May, Lowe's and Home Depot in Michigan are like crawling with people. Well, as soon as the weather breaks here, people know it's going to stay warm, you know, for the most part. We might get a weird, random cold front come through, but mostly it's going to stay warm. And it's April, you know, it's warm. Sometimes I can plant in March and be perfectly fine. And so I went, and the weather was nice, so there was a lot of people at Lowe's. And we were in line for like 45 minutes just to check out. And I was fine with it. There was a total Karen standing in front of us in line. It was hilarious. She was griping to her like 3-year-old son. Like, she was just griping and griping. And then her husband came out, and then he started griping, and I was like, oh. They only had like a handful of things. So I was like, seriously, calm down. Like, so Lucas started, he heard them complaining, so little man started complaining to me. And I looked at him and I was like, Lucas, it's fine. We are not in a hurry. We got nowhere else better to be. We can stand in this line, just be patient. And then, funny story, like I have front closed bras, okay? I find them much easier. But every once in a while, when I like lean over the shopping cart because my back is killing me from standing on my feet for 45 minutes, my bra will open up. And then the girls just go their own separate ways, right? It's like they were arguing and they have to be away from each other. So that happened while we were in line at Lowe's. And I'm like, I can't discreetly close it back up. Grab my jacket, put it over my front. And I was wearing my Spring Fling t-shirt. I can't discreetly fix that problem. So I put my jacket and I was like, I'll be right back. I'm going to go to the car. And I went to the car and I fixed myself. And then I came back to stand in line. And then at that moment, they decided to open up the second line, which was fantastic. So it was cool. It was cool. By the way, do you like my new cardigan? I actually put sleeves on this one. And no, I did not weave in the ends yet still. I know that you saw this on Mr. Cinnamon. He said that it was his, but it's not. It is. I made it for myself, but I made it with extra ease so that it would fit on him because he is larger than I am. And so I made it with quite a bit of extra ease to fit his body as well. I'll stand up and show this to you in a minute. This is not a pattern. It's not going to be a pattern. And the reason it's not going to be a pattern is because it is a morph. I morphed the cardigan that I showed for Premiere Week, which is back here. This is the Tulip Lace Cardigan from Premier Yarns. I use the same structure and I believe I used the same stitch count. If not, it was really close to the same stitch count that I used for this. I just used a split shell, which is kind of like a morph between the Tulip Lace Cardigan and the Momenti scarf that we made for that tutorial, because it's kind of the split shell pattern from the Momenti scarf. I just used it in the Tulip Lace Cardigan, so that's all I did. And I just put an extra collar on it that I can fold over. And I just did that by crocheting up and around. And then when I got to this top part up here, I increased as if I was working in the round. So with that, this yarn is, I have the labels. It is 2 different yarns. Now, if you guys recall, Premier Yarns last year or the year before, I don't remember what year, but I bought a bunch of this. Premier Yarns came out with, and I don't remember who came out with it first. So, Premier Yarns came out with Cotton Vibrance, and it was a ball that looked like this, that Mr. Cinnamon showed you in Friday's video. By the way, that was hilarious. I'll tell you that story in a minute. So it looked like this. I bought a bunch of them because I really like the colors. So it was Premier Yarns Cotton Vibrance, but also Michaels released the same exact yarn under their Loops and Threads brand called Cotton Colors. So that is what this sweater is made out of. It has long been discontinued. It was a temporary summer yarn. This is terrible. Mr. Cinnamon's right. It does look like somebody threw up on this. It is a ball. I have a bunch of these, and I was like, I need to use those. I ripped the tag. I need to reball that up. I wanted to use those up. I wanted another cardigan, and I'm probably going to make even more of this style of cardigan now that I have learned how to make it from that tutorial. I'm probably going to keep messing with it and keep adjusting it. But I'm going to stand up and show you. Trying to make sure there's nothing messy back there. My room is like almost spotless right now. Almost. Alright, so. Don't mind my pants. I am still in my pajamas. I just dressed from the top up for you guys. This is the cardigan. Now, as you can tell, I did put extra ease in there so it would fit Mr. Cinnamon. My intention is to put a few buttons down the front so that it is a front close cardigan. But also, like, I like the way it looks like. I just really, really do like the way it looks. I like the way it fits. This yarn is a little bit heavy, so I have a lot more of this. I don't think I would make another cardigan out of it because it's weighted. It's a heavy cotton. But yeah. So that's what that looks like. I totally cut my head off of that shot, but it's fine. It's fine. And I did not weave in any of the ends, as you can see. I didn't weave in the ends yet. But because I haven't worn it out in public yet. I don't know if I've weaved in the ends for that yet. It is what it is. I weave in the ends when I'm going to wear it. Like outside, not just like if we're in here, it's just us. You guys don't care if I have a couple of strings hanging, because honestly, from where I'm sitting, unless I show you there's ends that I need to weave in, you guys don't notice them normally. So yeah, whatever. Or I will weave in the ends when I'm going to like donate something or sell it or give it away. I will weave in the ends at that point. I hate weaving in ends. And yes, I have been called lazy for that. Whatever. I just worked really hard on making a whole project. Like, I just want to be done when I'm done, you know? So, and as for this, I worked extra hard on this because I was trying to get it done in time for the April Fool's video. Now, let's start with that, because that was hilarious. I was laying in bed like 3 weeks ago. I believe I was still in the midst of doing something for the channel. It was either premiere week or it was something. I was like, I went to bed, I was really tired. And I'm laying there and I am on the verge of falling asleep. And the idea of Mr. Cinnamon pretending to be me on the channel for April Fool's Day popped in my head right as I was about to fall asleep. And usually when I get a brilliant idea right before bed, if I don't write it down, I forget. I didn't have any paper. I was exhausted. My body was hurting because I was doing a lot. I roll over. Mr. Cinnamon had already fallen asleep. I tapped him and I woke him up. I said, Chris. He's all, what? I was like, I got an idea. He's all, okay. I said, I want to see if you'll go through with this. He's all, what? I was like, I got an idea for the channel for April Fool's Day. And then I started talking really fast because I get excited. I talk really fast. I was like, I want you to get on the channel and pretend to be me. And then I was batting some ideas about that off of him, which we ended up not doing because I think what we did worked way better than my initial thought. But just, I thought it would just be hilarious. Because I also, when I'm really tired, I get really stupid, slap happy, like ridiculous. I will laugh at just nothing, like, and these weird things come to my head. Okay, these are all part of me being overtired. And so he's all, yeah, that sounds good. And he rolled over and went back to sleep. And so, because I told him and I got really excited and then I fell asleep, I actually remembered the next day. So I was like, okay, this is a genius idea. And so him and I started just, we batted the idea around a little bit, but we didn't really talk about it after that. But we just like, I would mention it and then like, he'd be like, all right, like that's cool. And then I would like, brainstorm it. To me, it's always in the back of my head. When I'm planning something, it stays with me like 24 hours a day. I will even dream about it sometimes. So, I didn't bring it up again until the week of April Fool's. I was like, all right, so like, are you gonna do this video with me? And he just happened to have one of those days off of work that week. And I think it was like Wednesday or something. Because we still have not gotten my van back because the transmission is still on back order. That's a whole nother story. Luckily, Mr. Cinnamon has an amazing job and he is allowed to go in late to work so that he can take little man to school, and little man has been riding the bus home from school and everything has been going fantastic with that. So I think we're going to keep doing that even after I get my van back, but I really cannot wait to get my van back. It's been a little bit stressful only having one vehicle and being stuck at the house and not being able to run and get groceries so I can make dinner or like just leave the house. And so, you know, it's been a little bit strange. What was I saying? Something about April Fool's. Oh, he had the day off work. So, and I honestly, I did not know I did this with my hands so much until I saw him mimicking me, and then I realized I do it a lot. Because I started to take notice of my mannerisms, and I was like, I do that a lot. I don't know why. I don't know why. So he had the day off work. He's all, okay, so Wednesday or Thursday, whatever day it was he had off work, he's all, we'll do the recording then. We'll do it early in the morning so you can get it uploaded by Friday. And it was the same day the kids had a half day, so we were like limited how many hours we had of not a bunch of people in the house and not chaos and whatever, and not having to drive anybody anywhere. So we talked a little bit, and I was like, okay, I got an idea. Like, let's show some cakes, because that would just be funny. And then I was working on this, and then I was like, I'm going to finish this in time for the video so that you can wear it. I wasn't sure that one was going to fit him, but if I couldn't finish this, he was going to probably wear that or something. I was going to find him something to wear, maybe a nice shawl or something. He was going to have cardigan, something on, something crocheted. So I was working my little fingers to the bone to get this done by, I think it was Wednesday morning, so he could wear it, even with the extra like inches in, so that it would fit his body a little bit better. And when the morning came, I was like, okay, so how do you want to do this? He's all, and this was all him, like he's been brainstorming, and all I did was say, we're gonna do some cakes. And then I showed him the label. I said, do you know how to read the label? He goes, I know how to read the label. And I was like, all right, well, show me. Because I didn't believe that he knew how to read the label. I know that he watches some of my videos, but like his eyes tend to glaze over when I talk about yarn. At least that's what it appears. Like, I didn't know he was actually listening. And then he read the label to me in almost perfect fashion. I was like, all right, you got this. I said, next question. Do you want me in the room or do you want me out of the room? And he's all, well, I don't want you in the room because you're going to be laughing at me. And I was like, okay. I said, well, where do you want me to be? Because we had planned that I was going to catch him part, you know. He's all, just stand in the hallway, and when you hear me starting to try to end the video, you know, yell at me. And I was like, all right. I actually let him hang for like another minute when he was trying to wrap it up. And I was like, I'm going to see if he can make this a little longer. Because we were trying to make it a certain length. And he didn't quite make it, but that's okay. I was standing in the hallway. I had no idea what he was going to say. I had no idea what he was planning, what he was thinking about. And when he just started his spiel, and the only thing I had him rehearse was the, hello everybody, welcome to another episode of Cinnamon Stitches. I'm your yarn host, Jennifer. Today, that's the only part that I had him rehearse. Because the line I use every single video. And I was standing in the hallway, and like when he was talking about the cat toy and the yarn got threw up on, and oh my god, I was laughing so hard, but I was trying not to make a noise, so I was like internally laughing. I thought I was gonna die out there. I was like, oh my god, what is he doing? And then when we showed the kids the video, they both laughed hysterically. They thought their dad was crazy. I can't believe it. For me, knowing Mr. Cinnamon the way that I do, a couple years ago, he would not have ever worn anything slightly feminine. He would not have. He would not have done something that could have embarrassed him. That's not his personality. He's very like business, straightforward, dude-like, you know. Not his personality at all. So when he did this, it was a shock that he did it so well. It was kind of fun to be roasted a little bit by him, because there's things that he notices about my movement stuff that I didn't even notice, like the hand stuff. I had no clue I did that. It was so funny. It was so funny. And actually everybody, I didn't get a negative comment on that video. Everybody thought it was so funny. I just could not believe, I was so happy. So that was awesome. It was awesome. And I think he looked really pretty in my little cardigan, right? It was really fun. So aside from making this beautiful cardigan, I also last week, I like to, on Mondays, in case you're new here, because there are a lot of newbies, I show what I've made over the past week, and I talk about what I've been doing like in my personal life. You guys have already seen these. When I showed this collar that I made, I had no idea you guys were going to like it as much as you did. It was a little bit crazy, because I was like, honestly, when I made this, I was making it and I was like, okay, I have no idea what I'm going to do with that. Am I going to wear that? Nobody's going to like that because they're going to not see a purpose in it. That was my mindset. And then so many people were like, I need to have one of those. Can I have the pattern? Can you please make the pattern? I was like, okay, well, yeah, I mean, it wasn't hard. And so I had to go back through and like reverse engineer it. So I had to go through and like really look at the stitches and figure out what count I used and all that, because I did not make notes on that when I made it. I was literally just playing with the yarn, which is why in the tutorial when I showed you how to make the blue one, this is slightly different than that one because I did not write notes. And it's also why I say fudge it, because that's how I made that one. I fudged it. I encourage just playing with your yarn, and if it doesn't work, you can rip back a row and try the math again. Like, just, I don't know. Just fudge it. I also had quite a few of you say, you need to finish that, make it into a sweater, but I don't want to make it into a sweater. This would be way too hot of a sweater for me where I live. And yes, it would be beautiful. You would literally just add chains here and connect it to the back and work in the round and continue the same pattern, which I know a couple of you are working on. But I released that tutorial last week. This is called the Jada collar. And the reason it's called the Jada collar is because when I was making this, I was actually thinking of Jada N Stitches. I like that she does cute little, she does Victorian style stuff. She does old fashioned style stuff. I love old crochet. I love the aesthetic of old crochet. I love the design. I love the feel of old crochet. By old crochet, I mean anything that was designed before the 70s. And I know to some of you that is laughable because you were crocheting in the 60s. You were crocheting in the 70s. Like, it's what you learned on. But to me, like, that's before I was born. I was born in 79. So to me, that it's old. It's antique, if you will, without trying to insult anybody. I love older style. I love the old books. The patterns are really hard to read, but I really like figuring out like what they meant by that, or trying to design something that is not necessarily new or modern. I like the feel of older style stuff. Like, this is something you would see back in the day. A really skinny person probably wearing it because that's all that was in the magazines, but you know, I wanted something like that. And Jada makes stuff like this, and she might not do tutorials for like the really vintage stuff. She does have quite a few though. But she will wear like cute little pops on her, like little collars that she made, or like cute little dainty things. And that's where I got the inspiration from this collar from. So I named it the Jada collar. The dogs pop the door. I know you're not surprised by that. One more thing that I finished. I was going to close the door. I'm not going to. I finished Juju's prom socks. Now, these look huge, but I'm going to say this. Her and I have really big feet. We both wear like about an 11. It really depends on the shoe size and the shoe brand. We can wear anywhere from a 10 to an 11. 10 and a half would probably be perfect for us. And we have wide feet, so we both kind of need wide, like 10 wides or 11 normals, you know? So these look huge, but they do fit her feet. And I will pop up a picture of these on her feet after I show you these. Now, last time I showed my banana socks. Now, these match her prom dress almost perfectly. Glitter and all. They are darker than they're showing on the camera. They are about this dark. These are slightly more blue than her dress. Her dress is a little more green, but teal, like, fluctuates, you know? And I will, of course, post pictures of her in her prom dress on prom night. I just have to be careful because dog hair is everywhere. Like, Oreo is shedding like mad, and she has white hair. And this yarn particularly is picking up Oreo's hair. Like, I was on the bed, and the dog was on the bed, not touching me, but because she was on the bed with me, because she likes to cuddle mommy at night. She is very much my dog. The string was going across the bed, the sheet, and picking up every dog hair that was on the bed. Now, I'm going to say this about these socks. This is the first time I followed one specific pattern and didn't go off of the pattern. And it is the first time, because usually, like what I was saying is when I showed the banana socks, I Frankensteined them. I went off several different patterns or several different ideas, because that is how I learned to make socks. Because some of the ideas, like, I'm still kind of new at knitting, and I don't know a lot of the stitches. I don't know a lot of the terms. I don't know how to do the techniques. I am still very much in the learning process. And because I mostly crochet, that process has been like much longer than it probably should be if I was like really like the way I learned to crochet. Like I was all in. I haven't been able to do that with knitting because of the channel, because of life, and because of, you know, whatever. This is the first pattern where I just used one singular sock pattern. It was the vanilla sock pattern for DK weight yarn by Crazy Sock Lady. The pattern was written exquisitely. It was so easy to follow. It was just, she simplified things, and then she linked in the pattern to like the Kitchener. I have struggled with toes. I've struggled with heels too. Heels and toes are kind of difficult, okay? The banana socks that I made, the heels were not perfect. They were totally different heels, and I don't know what I did wrong. I don't know what I did wrong. I didn't know how to fix it, and so I just went about my bit. And yes, they fit fine. They're comfortable. They look nice on my feet. But when I look at them side by side, they're not quite perfect. These are perfect. These are a perfect match. They are the same exact size in all dimensions, stitches, rows, length. The heel is the same. The toe is the same. And it was because that pattern was that easy to follow. And I finally, by listening to her tutorials and by following the pattern together, the way she simplified things when she was showing it, it just clicked. And I was like, I finally understand what I'm doing. I finally understand what I'm doing. And now I think the next pair of socks that I make, which are going to be watermelon socks from Premier Yarns, I am going to use her pattern again because she has the vanilla socks in several sizes. And I'm going to make myself the socks and use her pattern, not as a defiant pattern, but as my guide so that I can remember what stitch count I'm supposed to be doing and what I'm supposed, you know, just as a guide. Because I now know enough. I can make it without a pattern, but I just would still have the pattern with me. So these are her prom socks. I am so stinking proud. And look at, they are like the same size. Like, line them up. They're the same size. They are my first perfect pair of socks. I finished them in bed last night and I looked at Mr. Cinnamon. I was like, I'm so proud of these. They're perfect. They're perfect. Now, and I can't even find where I messed up. On the inside of one of the socks here where I picked up stitches, I picked them up in the wrong spot because this yarn I could not see. I actually had to have lamps on and whatever I did, my neck light. I had to have my neck light on, pointed directly at the stitches, which were right here, so that I could see, and my glasses on because I could not see this yarn. I could not see it. It's like, it's dark. And I don't know, I was struggling to see, so I had to have lots of extra things to help me see. And with all that, they were still perfect. Except, like I said, I picked up the stitches in the wrong part of one of the heels, but I can't even see where I did that at. But on the inside of the sock, there is an extra, like, ridge that's not supposed to be there. But she's not going to notice, and you definitely can't notice from the outside. I'm so proud of those. I'm so proud of those. She asked for an extra long cuff here. She didn't want like long socks, but she wanted a longer cuff because I do shorty socks. I do them right here. I want them barely hanging out of my shoe, you know? And so I made hers a little bit extra longer because she's not wearing these with shoes. The yarn I used for this, and the reason I use this yarn, because I was asked what yarn I used. The yarn I used for this. Can you close my door, baby?
I'm hungry.
I'll feed you in a minute if you close my door. I just gotta finish this one video, okay? Okay, don't be gross. Close it. Boys. Boys are gross. Anyway. So, this yarn, the reason I use this yarn is not because this is gonna be long-lasting socks. It's not. And I told her you might actually wear holes in these socks by the end of the night. However, she wanted socks to match her dress, mission accomplished, so that she could take off her really tall high heels that she insisted on having and dance. And then there's also an after party at a place close by that is run by a local business, and it's like an arcade type place. And so all the kids are going there after the prom, and they actually got free tickets to so many of the kids, and then like you can buy, and it's like a free for all. Like they can go play games, they can play video games, they can play laser tag, they can do whatever they want. I think there might be snacks, but that's probably going to be a problem for a child who can't eat gluten. So I might just pack her some snacks to take with her, or feed her at some point. So anyway, this yarn I got on clearance at Hobby Lobby. I don't remember when I bought this. I don't know how long I've had it, but it is the Red Heart Huga Charm. It is in the colorway Eclipse. And because it is a clearance yarn, I don't know if you can find this anywhere else. They may have this at Ollie's right now because it was discontinued, I believe. But see how it's the beautiful teal color with the sparkle running through? It absolutely matches her dress, and she's really excited. And they fit her really good. And I will remember, I hope I remember to pop up a picture. That's what I've been working on this week. I think today I have to grocery shop still, and I hate grocery shopping. I have to go buy, I already bought the meat for the next 2 weeks, and then I have to go buy some fresh vegetables for this week, and like, you know, shelf stable stuff. So I don't have a lot. I just probably gonna go to Aldi's and pick up a few staples, some breakfast items for myself. Little man has been obsessed with Aldi's corn dogs for breakfast, but because of his medicine, his appetite is not, I'm going to say this. When he started his medicine, it killed his appetite entirely. So when he wants corn dogs for breakfast, I will give him corn dogs for breakfast because he eats without me fighting him. I will say that. Although the longer he's been on the medicine, his appetite is starting to come back a little bit, but he's still like really skinny. He's not unhealthy skinny at all, and his doctor is fine with his weight. But I just have to make sure that he's getting enough to eat, and you know, that he's eating the right foods, which he also does not like most fruits and vegetables. So with dinner, we eat one vegetable. He will not eat Brussels sprouts at all. He will eat lettuce in his taco, but not other than that. So I have to I either sneak food into his other food. So if I make chili, for example, he will eat chili. He will not eat it if there's big chunks of tomato or anything. So I have to make sure if there's tomato in there, that's small enough he can't see it. And then I will like shred other vegetables into it so that it takes on the color of the chili. And he doesn't realize he's eating it because he can't see it. So there's a lot of vegetables that are really good for just shredding. Like you can like grate it with a grater and then throw it in, and then you get a vegetable. You don't know you got a vegetable. Same thing with like meatballs. If I'm making meatballs, I grate carrots. I will grate carrots and throw the carrots in with the meat because the carrots look like meat. He doesn't know. He will not eat a carrot to save his life. He does not like carrots. He thinks. And then if I make like cabbage rolls or albundagas or corned beef and cabbage, for example, if I make cabbage, I have to tell him that they're green noodles. And he eats them. He enjoys cabbage. But if I tell him it's cabbage, he won't eat it. So it's a whole... I've been through this before because when my nieces came to live with me for the second time, they were 7 and 9, I think. Yeah. And they ate top ramen every day for lunch. And whatever my sister threw together after she worked, which was usually like, she burns a lot of food. My older sister's not a good cook. She burns a lot of food, and she eats a lot of like frozen food items. So when they came to live with me the second time, they almost were feral. Like, I hate saying that, but like that's kind of what it felt like. And so I had to retrain them to be children. And I'm a cooker. I love cooking for my family. And one of them would not eat vegetables and the other one would not eat meat. So I had to get very creative with what I was cooking, how I was cooking it. And so I learned a lot of techniques. I told my oldest niece, I was like, you kind of prepared me to deal with little man, because like she was difficult. She was not as difficult as little man, but like she really helped me to learn how to parent. Because Juju was easy. Juju was like the perfect child. She still is like a really good person, and she's easy to parent. So I didn't learn a lot from her, but wow, I learned a lot from my niece and from little man. I learned a lot. Anyway, I think that is going to be it for this Monday morning. There's also some news that I got this weekend that I cannot share with you because it is confidential. However, I will tell you this. The news was so exciting to me that I actually almost threw up because I was so excited, which has never in my life happened to me, that I felt like I was going to throw up because I was too excited. So I called my sister and I was like, okay, I gotta talk to you, but you can't tell nobody. And she's like, what? And so I started telling her some of the stuff that I knew that is probably going to happen this very soon. And I was like, oh, I'm getting too excited. My face was turning red. Like I was like, my blood pressure shot up. And I was like, this has never happened. So it's been a really, really amazing weekend. It has been just... Friday was the start of a really great day, and it just has been going all weekend. So I am going to take a moment to be extremely, extremely thankful for my life. Yeah, I have a lot more to say. I had a really bad day last week too. I just have to say that, you know what? I'm not going to talk about that. We're going to leave it at that. Yeah. I was going to talk about it. I'm not going to talk about it because I don't want to stir up any more drama, because we're going to end this on a good note. We've had a good day. We've had a really good weekend. And yeah. So with that, I hope you have a fantastic Monday, whatever time it is that you're watching this. If you're watching me in the car, the shower, the bed, doesn't matter. Just know that I'm grateful to have you in my life, and I'm grateful that you're sitting here with me, drinking your beverage of choice, or knitting or crocheting your project of choice. I am very grateful that you choose to have me as your company. So, I will see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.